Got bad news, Alex.
What's this?
Someone tried to break onto David's house and took out a gun and shot into the air.
Is this true?
He's had to be removed from the State of Podcasts.
Is this who I believe it may be?
David 2988. Welcome to episode 9.
Episode 9. Oh, Jesus. I never thought we'd ever say that. Because you know what we immediately think of? A horrible film.
Yeah. One that inspired many of our critiques of films.
Oh, dear. We'll probably touch on it sooner rather than later at some stage. But
I think we
anyways,
already
this
have.
is, of course, episode 9 of the State Podcast. And what are we talking about today, Adam?
We're talking about Zack Snyder's, Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead.
It's actually, I was like, is that actually the title? Because I know he does that with almost all his films now.
Yeah, but everyone's kind of associates. Even though he's still a
the
relatively
face of it.
mid-scale director, he has become kind of the face of this.
Yeah. And
Warner Brothers, it's funny, Warner Brothers' lack of marketing has basically been the marketing of this film.
yeah,
for Netflix.
Oddly enough, well, I think I should give a wee rundown because a lot of people aren't kind of aware that Zack's first film, 2004, was Dawn of the Dead.
A remake, of course.
A remake, of course, of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. One of the few remakes I actually prefer over the original.
What about Psycho starring Vince Vaughn?
You've answered the question. You've answered the question yourself. Sorry, this is a tangent, but I was in a shop one time and they had a T-shirt of Psycho, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool," and it was the Vince Vaughn one. I swear to God. But anyways,
a T-shirt.
huh?
What
It
do you mean
was
a T-shirt?
It was a T-shirt of Vince Vaughn in Psycho.
Of just Vince Vaughn.
No, well, it said Psycho. It was like the fucking poster.
I believe he prefers his full name, Vincent Van Vaughn.
Vincent Van Vaughn, of course. But anyways, like I was saying, directorial debut, Dawn of the Dead, 2004, written by James Gunn, who was originally meant to direct it, but people or fans, zombie fans, complained saying, "No, we don't want the guy who wrote, the fucking Scooby-Doo movies to direct this fucking film." So they brought on Zack, who had only really worked in, he worked
Music
in
videos,
commercials
wasn't
for,
Do you know his music videos?
He did music videos. He did commercials for about 10 or 11 years. So, that's how most directors
Because he was
start,
already
really.
old enough by that stage. Zack's 50 now, isn't he?
He's in his 50s, late 50s.
Yeah, so he was like, he's not late 50s.
I'm at 50. Oh,
Zack is not late
it's about
50s.
56, I'd say.
If you see the fucking arms on that man, he is not late 50s.
Oh, but you see the beard on that man? It's fucking white now.
Ah,
We do
but
love
come on,
Zack, by the way. We're not. We don't have disdain for him.
I think me and you can't talk about people going grey with the amount of...
Yeah, that's fair.
I swear
55.
some of the films I've watched have
55.
have aged me. Yeah, wow, that's what? It's about 20, a little under 20 years ago now?
Yeah, so he was in his
Seemed like-
30s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Not
That's
uncommon
just
for a directorial debut.
We can't all be Edgar Wright.
Or John Singleton, who was 21 when he was nominated for an Oscar for Boys in the Hood, and never made a good film ever since. And yes, I will stand by that. Come at me.
Oh dear.
But
So what
of
do you think of
course-
What do you think of Army of the Dead, Alex?
Army of the Dead. I actually enjoyed it because it was this sort of like, it was different. It was something that we hadn't really seen before. Like, it obviously had the fundamental basis of zombie films, but I think it's almost, they do it in a good way because it's not really about that. It's about this journey among this group in a way. And I've seen there's already about a million fan theories already going about aliens, robots, all that, which we will get into later, of course. But as a film, I did enjoy it. Like, it was well paced. It had a classic Zack intro that was completely slow motion. And yeah, I enjoyed it. What do you think?
The intro is kind of where the film peaked for me.
How so?
To be honest with you, I think the intro was almost misleading to a point, because the intro almost made it seem like quite a surreal world, where I almost thought some of the marketing for this film made me thought I was getting something more comedic, a bit more James Gunn-like. The marketing was very James Gunn with the kind of use of vibrant colors and all the kind of ads. like, it's kind of reminded me of the new Suicide Squad trailer.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Trailers.
Yeah.
Like,
Because it was
and
my
then
squad.
the movie, well, yeah, and then the movie itself was not very comedic at all.
Mm.
It was just kind of generic point A to point B, get like kind of action film where they're just kind of going through a place. And I'm a big wrestling fan, but I only like watching Batista when he's in a comedic role. I find him painfully uninteresting.
Well, you didn't like him in Blade Runner.
I haven't seen Blade Runner,
Oh, right. He is very good in that as well.
so I'm gonna give that one. I haven't seen that, so I'll give it a pass. But like,
Because that was the first film I watched with him as an actor. And, oh, maybe it was
I'm just-
Spectre, actually. I'm not sure.
what about
Anyways.
Guardians?
Oh, yes, of course. But I meant, like, in a serious role, if you know what I mean. And I was like, yeah, no. I buy it. He's a good actor in that film.
I think he can be. I don't know. Like, I'd be dreading to think what he'll be like in that, and because this Army of the Dead isn't standalone. There's a prequel ready to go. I think it's just wrapped.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
wrapped
Wrapped
a couple
recently?
of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Who
There's an
it
anime,
was directed by, and it is starring Dieter, the safecracker, in the film.
and
Set in Germany, by the
anime
way.
coming out, which will be set during the initial outbreak,
Mm.
which we saw during the big slow-mo intro to the film. I hate to think of a cartoon where it's Batista voice acting. Where it's just that.
Oh, is he going to be in it? I'm not sure. I don't know. I assume it's the premise of it is that intro where they're going around killing, shamblers.
To my knowledge, that's
The premise.
what it
like.
is.
I'm interested to see what the art style is going to be. Because by saying animation, it could be so many different types of art styles.
It said anime. It said anime inspired.
Anime inspired.
And Netflix has a bit of a history of anime inspired things, or even their own animes that they've made.
We see immediately when I think Netflix and anime, I think Love, Death, Robots, and not the shitty animes they did.
Yeah, I love Death Robots. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That fucking Godzilla trilogy. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not getting back on that.
Yeah, that was,
I
that
brought
was
that
last
up
week, Adam. That was last week.
That was last week. What else? Or well, even of course, their famous adaptation of Death Note,
Oh.
which I have not seen the original Death Note or the film, but I know enough
The one
to know
good
that
thing
it's
from
something I
that-
shouldn't touch.
The one good thing with Death Note was casting Willem Dafoe, and that's all I'll say.
So our great old clip, it was Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell did a film like maybe 10 years ago or something, and they were doing an interview, and the interview was like, how do you feel being the third most popular celebrity couple in it these days? And they're like, third? Who's above us? The interviewer said, well, of course, Brangelina, and then whoever Willem Dafoe is dragging around these days.
Jesus Christ.
You just said he didn't know where he was going with it. He took a second, and that's what he came out with.
Just like first actor comes in. Willem Dafoe, sure, why not?
And
Just the
Dax Shepard
weirdest
and
tangent.
Christian Bell just fucking broke down in
Of
tears.
course. I think anyone, because the weird thing is, everyone says, oh, everyone knows Brad Pitt as an actor. Everyone knows, Leonardo DiCaprio. Everyone knows Willem Dafoe. Whether you know his name or not, you know the man. You know what I mean? He's just one of those actors that everyone knows. Because he's
And you know
in
some
fucking
odd fact,
everything.
and you know some odd fact about him,
Huh?
and you know some odd fact
Oh, of
about him.
course. Of course.
Famously, like his large genitalia, or
I was
his,
going to say massive schlong.
or his appearance in Spider-Man 2. His unplanned appearance.
Right, Joe it reminds me of, that, like, from the behind the scenes where Sam Raimi's just like to Alfred Molina, he's like, no, you see, I want you to do more like this, and it's Willem Dafoe with the whole
In
gear
the
on.
arms.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm gonna guess that's when he showed up to set without telling them. With it
yeah,
just
because he
to
has
say
long hair
hello.
there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna guess that was probably what it was, and then they organized to do the later scene with him talking to Harry in the mirror.
Yeah. Anyways, tangent. Fuck, Army of the Dead. We'll get to the Raimi trilogy soon, Adam. We'll get there
Someday.
soon.
Someday. it was fine. 2.5 hours. I don't for a film like that where it's kind of more of a set piece spectacle as opposed to being quite plot driven. I think it didn't need to be 2.5 hours.
So what?
Like
Had you seen it, Dawn of the Dead?
I've not seen Dawn of the Dead, and I'm actually going to be honest. This is my second least favorite Zack film of the
What's your
Zack films
least
I've seen.
favourite? Sucker
Oh
Punch?
no, it's definitely my third least favorite.
Why,
That
Sucker Punch?
fucking owl movie as well.
I've
Sucker
not seen
Punch
that.
and
Neither watched
Sucker
it.
Punch and that owl movie.
By the way, Sucker Punch is also my least favorite because it's. I
Shit.
watched the intro today. 10 minutes of slow mo.
Oh, for fuck's! He did a weird thing where he was trying to defend himself, saying he's not that big of a slow mo guy.
Oh no, well, he's taking the piss. He was obviously taking the piss. There's no way. Justice League at 25 minutes of slow mo.
He was being serious. He was like, I reckon at least
He probably doesn't know. That's a
doesn't
lot.
realize it's like Abrams and the lens flares. When
Yeah, he
people call
doesn't
him up
really.
on it.
See, at least Abrams has kind of stayed off it a wee bit. It's
That's because
it's
Abrams
crept
doesn't make
away.
films anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
No one wants him to.
the thing I was really interested in about this film was the hierarchy. Not the fact that there was just this, because it's been like 5 years since the initial outbreak.
Yeah, it reminded me kind of a bit like of I Am Legend,
Yeah,
where they kind of had their own society going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
I thought it was kind of an interesting way to explore that without just kind of being the status quo. Whereas kind of like, we don't fuck with the zombies, they don't fuck with us.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this will be a heavy spoiler talk because we're just going to talk about this fucking film. Because it's kind of
I
hard
mean,
not to talk about this.
You can't
film.
really talk about this film without spoiling it.
Yeah, because
that's
like
probably
the
these
whole
kind of-
setup is like the first hour. So like after that, it's just like it's another hour and a half, and you can't really talk about just like basically the first hour is the setup of the film, and then like you have an hour and a half of them being in the place. So it is hard not to talk about that because we just be talking about the whole setup, and it's just like, well, it's just people talking for most of it. One thing I will commend them for is the or the helicopter pilot, Peters, because they're all. She was composited into every scene. She was CGI'd
Really?
into every scene. Yeah.
Was someone else originally?
It was Chris D'Elia, who was meant to be in the film, but this time last year, obviously, sexual assault allegations came up against him, so Zach was like, yeah, I'm just going to remove him from the film and bring in Tig Notaro.
Watch them do that for Death on the Nile.
Well, I'd be the whole cast.
It's just going to be 2 hours
It'd be
of
Letitia
fucking
Wright.
Kenneth.
It would be
It's going to be 2 hours of Kenneth Branagh just
Talking to
sitting on a
himself.
chair.
talking to himself.
He just superimposes himself over all of them.
Yeah, because you
where
have...
It's
yeah.
like the Prestige. It's like a different wig and mustache.
I always forget that he looks really a lot like E. Jackman in that film, doesn't he? You and E. Jackman, mainly towards the end of the.
Oh
Prestige.
yeah, when he plays the Lord.
Yeah. He looks so different. Yeah. Anyways, Army of the Dead.
Alright.
Yeah, no. What I find really interesting, like I did commend them for the whole like CGI thing, 'cause you don't really notice.
I
Because
didn't notice. That's why they gave her a scene of just no motivation. There, we need to do the job.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. No, but like, yeah, no, but it's weird because you would think, like, knowing that now and looking back, you'll probably notice it a lot more because she just filmed all her scenes on the green screen.
Yeah.
Except for the ones where I assume it was just her in the helicopter and she was just like, oh no, I can't get this fucking thing to work. But I do commend them for that. The cinematography. How do you feel about the whole film being in shallow focus?
I watched it on an iPad, so
Because I like
That's
it. Because
if I watched it on a big screen, it may have annoyed me.
I was watching the behind the scenes. They have a whole like half-hour behind the scenes thing. Goes into like everything, like the zombie horse, the tiger, everything. But Zach was talking about he got these Canon Dream lenses, and they were basically made in the 60s by this Japanese guy. So he just bought them on eBay, and then he was working with Netflix to basically make a custom made using the lens, like making a custom like shell around the lens so it would fit into your Red camera. By the way, this is Zach's first digital film. Whether you care or not.
They made Zach film on Red.
Huh?
They made Zach film on Red.
I don't mind it. It's like one of the first Netflix things that I kind of like. You know what I mean?
I know our up and coming project has a chance of being filmed on Red, but
Is this are we shying towards this? Or are we just hinting towards this now?
we're just hinting towards the future. I mean, I
Yeah.
probably won't be in it, as our last unreleased project proved that I'm either incredibly monotone as I am on the podcast,
Well, we know who will be doing it.
or I'm 10 times the speed
Yeah.
if I'm on
Well,
camera.
we know you'll be behind the scenes with me. Let's just say
I will at least be having a cameo appearance.
you'll be at least helping me in the sound department. But anyways, I enjoyed the effects. Did you like? What do you think of the effects of the movie?
It's alright. I mean,
Like
as I
for
said, I watched
like that tiger looked good.
I don't know, I think Disney's kind of spoiled us now on straight to streaming service effects.
Yeah, because they're
And even Amazon as well kind of has, because The Boys look, to be fair, looks
Yeah.
really good.
yeah.
So I think we've kind of been, Netflix has almost always kind of been the consistent one that
Yeah.
like looks more TV quality. It's definitely not TV quality. It looks a whole lot better than that, say, those fucking CW shows or Agents of Shield or
Yeah, or Flash.
as I said, those CW shows.
Yeah, but specifically.
Like, I've been watching. No, I don't believe you did. Oh, you did. Yeah, that looked awful. He looked like your boy from Buried.
Yeah. Leroy Jenkins.
Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, because I never had Stranger Things, so I started that.
Season 1.
I finished
Or how
season
far have you
1.
gotten?
I'm like halfway through season 3.
Alright. Because it was always just one of those shows that I was just like, oh, why wasn't this just a one season kind of thing? It just would have worked better as that.
I mean, I want to go on a rant on this someday. We'll leave it for now. Let me finish it.
Yeah.
I have some points I'd like to make on that at some point. So, but like, it does look quite cheap all the time.
What, Stranger Things or?
Stranger Things, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think we gave it a pass at the time, but it's getting like, as I said, we've been spoiled by Disney and Amazon. Like, first season Mandalorian looked a little cheap. Second season looked phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just the fact that they were getting kind of like used to the technology. You know what I mean?
Some things in like WandaVision looked really good to an extent. I know there are limitations.
Yeah.
Same with Falcon. Boys looks
Falcon
great.
especially limitations. Because half that show was not finished.
Yeah, that sucked for that show. What other shows does Amazon have at the budget? But then Netflix dumps stupid money on the fucking Crown.
Yeah. Well, I think it was just. I think that's a big hit. Like, everyone watches that. You know what I mean? Like, it's surprisingly going to get more viewers than a fucking superhero film or TV show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's just so kind of universal now at this point.
Because everyone will watch that, especially the Americans. The Americans, they're mad into that, so they are.
That's because they fucking love the Royals for some reason.
The Empire Strikes Back.
Fuck, I've completely lost my train of thought, to be honest with you.
We're talking about TV shows and visual effects.
We were talking about the TV shows. Oh, yes, I mean, it looked... Because we haven't had any... let's wait till the Disney Plus Star Wars films come out, because there's a couple of films...
Yeah. Well, I think it's weird to judge
because
because, like,
Disney Plus.
We know stuff like Falcon Winter Soldier have like $150 million budgets. Mandalorian even more, WandaVision even
This
more
Lord of
than
the
that,
Rings show coming up.
which is costing $500 million, which is mental.
I know.
But I mean, they're definitely going to be getting the views. You know what I mean for that. people go mad into it. It'll be like Game of Thrones all over again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But surprise! I was looking at the budget, 90 million.
For Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead, 90 million. Yeah,
You know what? That's not bad.
that's not bad. It's a good budget.
That's not bad.
Yeah, like I
That's really not bad.
imagine they got a lot of views just off the back that was a Zack film.
Oh yeah, well, they got probably so much off of his effectively his next film after Justice League.
Yeah.
I know it from the sounds of it as well. Good news. Zack is planning to stay busy
Mm-hmm.
because this has been his first film since Justice League, isn't it? I believe.
Yes, he did do a wee small short film, but
First
feature,
motion picture, first feature film since Justice League.
and first non-comic book film since I don't know, Sucker Punch.
I swear, did he not do a film in between Man of Steel and
BVS.
BVS?
No.
those
He
three
did.
are
He
gap,
did
was
a
it?
short documentary on
Oh, I
Superman,
see.
but it was like a 10-minute short thing. It was just because BVS was a big production
Yeah,
that lasted a long
and
time.
well, a lot of BVS's pre-production was also Justice League pre-production.
Yeah.
Because they used to have the same sets and
Mm.
suits and.
Because like I was looking into this, there is so much CG, and that I only realized from watching the making of. You know when it's just them walking about and they're just in the middle of the strip and they stop and they're like, oh, we should, and they're outside like this big building. Literally everything is CG.
Yeah,
Like it's
you
really
can tell
well
that.
done.
I'm honestly kind of surprised because they filmed it. It's in Europe, wasn't it?
No, they filmed it in America, I think.
Oh,
pretty sure.
okay. I'm thinking of. I think I'm thinking of the.
You're thinking
prequel.
the prequel. Prequel was filmed in
Oh,
Germany.
never mind.
Prequel was Germany because it's a German-based film.
When I was. No, I was looking for then. Did they use the virtual sets like Mandalorian?
Oh no.
Oh,
It was all like this was filmed like
on green screen.
2019, 2018, 2019.
Oh wow.
So it was
Wait, no, it wouldn't
there
be
was a lot of
2018.
blue screen. And then there's a lot of sequences that were completely CG.
Yeah, I could tell.
I have to say though, once again, that tiger looks really good. It just
It
did,
did-
though. Especially
it
when
did
they're
look
just ripping into your man. I was looking at how they did that. Your man was just like, they wanted to get the stunt people to do it, and I was like, no, because like I kind of wanted to be attacked by. I've been attacked by a tiger before in a film, but it's the first time it's a zombie tiger, and they just had him on strings and stuff, and they're just flinging him by. And then he gets his head crushed in. But no, like Junkie XL did soundtrack. And I
Disappointing
think
for a Junkie XL soundtrack. I'm used to fucking bops from that man.
no, but I think this soundtrack works really well because there's a lot of people on the side of a soundtrack should be like, be impactful and stuff, and then there are people who feel like the soundtrack should never really be heard. And that's what you kind of feel when you're watching this film. Like, it just complements everything really well. And it's not really center stage, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
Like, the visuals are center stage. And then, obviously, the soundtrack's just complementing it. They did a lot of covers for this film. Like, the opening song is a cover.
Cover's very good. Cover's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
They
Alison
did a
Crowe
Bad Moon
again.
Rising cover as well.
Did what?
Was that them? They did a Bad Moon Rising cover as well, I believe.
Oh my god, I just realised I forgot
What?
the last song in the film.
What was it?
It was
I'm trying to remember
by
what
the
it is now.
Cranberries.
It was Zombie,
It
yeah.
was Zombie. Like, I was watching, I was like, why has no one ever done that? It's just like a song that would be so fit. It was, I think it was an acoustic version of it.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think everything was acoustic in the film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Zach's only going to work with Junkie XL from now on.
Yeah. Well, just because he kind of really likes...
It's 3 films back to back.
Yeah, well, Man of Steel technically as well. Because he did
Yeah,
work
but that was
with Hammers.
primarily Zimmer, to be fair.
No, he's credited in every single song.
That's only recent, though. He wasn't always credited on all of
Oh,
them.
fair
He's only
enough.
been credited more recently.
Yeah.
Because I did wonder that, because I looked up Junkie XL, because I'm still not over that fucking Justice League soundtrack.
That man's a fucking... Godzilla, he did some great tunes in that.
2 is a shit film.
It's a bad film, yeah, but it's just like I like when it's like, all right, I can at least leave the film with a good soundtrack.
Fair enough. And nothing else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, fucking, I've something I want to say. I went to the cinema last week. It's back
Did you?
open.
What'd you watch?
Yeah. A film I had never seen before, and I believe it's it marks 20 years since the film came out, and I had never seen this film.
What year are we in? 2001. Oh god.
I'm gonna assume it's 20 years, because why else would it?
What kind of film was it?
I don't really know how to describe it.
Okay.
Or what genre I'd say. I watched Gladiator.
Oh, you've never seen Gladiator? Yeah, it's 20 years.
Oh, it's over 20 years.
Yeah,
it was
21
years.
2000, yeah.
They must want to do this last year and just pushed it back.
Mm.
It's sick. I've never seen Gladiator.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I haven't seen it in about 5 years.
I'm so glad the first time I watched it
wasn't cinema. It does seem
Yeah,
like
it
one of
was-
those films.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. So there's 3 of us that went. One of the lads, it's one of his favorite films of all time. So he was like buzzing to see it. Another lad watched it. He says, he watched it a couple of years ago and he hated it. I think a couple of years ago might have been 10 years ago or whatever. And then I had never seen it, and all 3 of us came out of it, and we were like, "As you're so bad." The one of the lads, he was probably trying to mess with me, to be fair, now because he knows it's pissing me off to fuck. He was like, he said, "I'm just gonna set my phone during it." And then like he came out, he was like, "Yeah, no, that was sick." He didn't go on his phone or just like that.
How long is it? Is like 3 hours, isn't it?
It's 2 hours 40.
Who's in it? Oliver, what's his name? The old guy. I can't remember the actor's name.
Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed, yes, of course. Died during the production.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, you know at the end, you know like the last scene at the end or whatever. Yeah, it's CG. It's all composite. It's actually really well done.
Especially for the time. It looked really good for the time. The effects hold up really well.
Oh yeah. Ridley Scott, to be fair. You know what I mean? Ridley Scott films tend to. He is a good director.
It was interesting though, so because I was kind of a bit worried about this film because I'd seen. It's not the spiritual successor to Gladiator is of course Robin Hood.
Oh right. I thought you were gonna say Gods and Kings, and I was like, oh fuck, or Gods of.
Oh no,
or
I was
Exodus
gonna
or whatever it's called. Or...
Oh, was that the Bale movie?
Aye.
No, I was talking. Remember the Robin Hood film because it was
where everyone thought it was going to be this really gritty, unique tale, Robin Hood, and then it was just Robin Hood again.
Oh, so shit. I mean, I've seen some. It was. I don't know if it was better than the Taron Egerton version, but both were fairly piss poor.
It was better than the Taron Egerton version.
Have you seen the Taron Egerton?
It was better than the Taron Egerton version.
Have you seen the Taron Egerton version?
Adam, yes, it was better than. There's so much wrong with that. I don't know why I watched it. I think they tricked me.
They tricked me into watching it. It's just a Batman movie.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
It's just Taron Egerton as Batman.
I think that's what they were trying to do with it, and I think there was like a trilogy planned.
Oh, there's 100% trilogy planned.
I think it's because they're like, right, we got Jamie Foxx, Taron Egerton, right?
Who else? Jamie Foxx was literally Alfred. Jamie Dornan was the villain.
Jamie Dornan and who else?
Not Jamie Dornan. Jamie Dornan.
Jimmy Dornan. Ben Mendelsohn. Ben Mendelsohn. Ben Mendelsohn.
You're gonna cut this, aren't you?
No, I can't. No. It's too bled in. It's bled in too well. No one knows, Adam. No one knows. Anyways, we'll keep it. Like, imagine a year from now, we'll go back to this and laugh.
Oh, that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
The fact that I was like Jamie Dornan and you were like,
yeah. I was just trying to brush it off, like, shut up. Anyways, you see, we brought attention to it now. That's the problem. I didn't want this to happen. Anyways.
So I've recently, I've watched some films I never thought I'd be given the absolute joy of having to watch, Alex.
Oh God, what?
So not only have I seen Step Up, I have now also seen Step Up to the Streets, which is a fun play on words, because not only is it Step Up to the Streets, but you could also say it. No, well, he only makes a cameo in the second one. No, he does cameo in Step Up to the Streets. See, we can also say like Step Up to the Streets because they are stepping up but they're stepping up in the street.
Go on with this.
They are the
This
same.
will be a short link. This is all I'm saying. This will be a very short link about Step Up.
I gotta tell you, these might be some of the worst films I've ever seen.
Fuck me.
I have no excuse for actually why I watched these, like, because the only reason I could think of why a lad my age would end up watching this is if he was on, like,
Yeah.
if some fucking girl forced him to or whatever.
Yeah, or just to completely ridicule them.
No, I don't even have that excuse. Like, it was, it was just me and one of my housemates because he really likes Step Up.
Is he a Channing Tatum fan? Is that why?
No, he was when we finished Step Up 2, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think we'd make it this far." He was fucking with me the whole time. He doesn't like these films, but he
Alright.
has seen them before. He just wanted to see how far I would go.
He's just fucking with you.
There's 5 of these films.
I know.
There's 5 fucking Step
People
Up
like them.
films. The second one, we looked it up, had a budget of like 19 million. I don't know how much it made roughly.
Yeah.
160.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, there's a big community for that.
Not anymore.
No,
Because they got lower. Because we most of them on Netflix. I think the first one, I think the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one are on Netflix.
Well, it came out around that kind of perfect time.
It was like
You know when that was
2006.
becoming a big deal.
What, dance?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that street dance movement
Yeah.
kind of changed a lot of things. Especially because that was kind of around the time we were getting like diversity when Britain's Got Talent.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
there was also a good
Well
dance
deserved.
group that year. I think the year before a dancer won, George Sampson, which I also funny. The same lad who forced me to watch Step Up with him. He was telling me a story about, you're gonna get a good kick out of this. He when he was a child, he went on holidays to Butlins, where
course
George
he did.
Sampson was actually performing.
Yeah.
Although he was around that time, he was dealing with a back injury, so he didn't dance and he just sang.
Yeah, went to watch. First of all, it's a Butlin's holiday. Secondly, how low was his career at this point that he was performing at a Butlin's holiday?
I mean, to be fair, there's not much you can really do with dance like that.
Yeah. Well, clearly he wasn't even fucking dancing at him.
That's true. His injury has really fucked him. Like, I think he got really badly injured.
Can we remove this? Can we just move on from this link? Because I don't want to be talking about...
right.
Adam, I didn't think we'd ever talk about Butlins.
It's funny, the Step Up films, no. It's good. This is... Okay, I'm forcing a transition here. So, music. You know what films have a...
Fuck me, what was
You know
that?
you know what films have a good music that I've also watched recently, and they have good music and not a whole lot else going for them.
What?
So I've never seen the Twilight films.
Well, you saw the last
I've-
one, didn't you?
What?
Did you not see the last one?
I hadn't seen any of them.
Alright, I'll tell you the truth. I've only seen Breaking Dawn, part 1 and 2. That's all I've seen. Don't ask me why, just that's all I've
Once
seen.
again, I have no excuse as to why I watched these Twilight films.
Yeah, you have less of an excuse than me, to be honest.
Yeah, and they're not good, but so it's really funny. From a filmmaking perspective, the first one's terrible in every way. Apart from has quite a good soundtrack. Not even just the music they use, but like the actual score is actually surprisingly really good. But it's shot terribly, edited terribly, acted terribly, terrible script. What else? Yeah.
It's everything.
Effects are pretty
Acting.
terrible. It's just a shit film.
Acting.
It's
Like,
just
the
a
worst thing
shit
is,
film.
Pattinson's a great actor, but...
Well,
this
Stewart's
doesn't-
also quite well respected now as well.
She's not the best. Did you watch Underwater?
I don't watch fucking indie films. I'm afraid of things that aren't mainstream.
No, it was the Cthulhu film,
Oh,
where they're all, like, underwater. It was basically Alien, but with Cthulhu.
that sounds terrible.
Like, Cthulhu shows up at the end, everyone's like, what? And it's so confusing. Like,
So weird.
it's all about these, like, monsters, but you can't see them until the very end where you see Cthulhu.
I'm gonna look
anyways.
this up. And so then I jump forward to the second one, Because you can tell the budget was just like fucking shot up to the roof for the
Of
second one.
course,
Like,
because it made money.
first one made a lot of money on not a whole lot of money,
Mm.
and you can tell the second one it's shot really well.
Mm.
Like the color grading's better as all the Twilight films are either color graded blue, orange, or green.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just a filter they
Right.
put on.
Much like Zack's films.
Yeah,
But we're Zack fanboys, so we don't criticize him
yeah.
for it.
Zach makes good films. Fuck Twilight. And anyways, go on.
And it's actually it's shot really well, the music's really well, and it's edited really well.
Yeah.
But the script and acting are both so astonishingly shit
It's just like everyone acts so wooden
that
in the
it's
films.
an irredeemable piece of shit.
Pretty much, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like sometimes you can see Taylor Lautner, because Taylor Lautner is weirdly enough the only human in this film.
Oh no, you're forgetting about the dad character. He's actually the only good one.
Oh yes, I forgot. Yes, of course.
Taylor Lautner's too busy running off into the forest shirtless with his wolf friends.
It's just weird. Did you see how they shot like her petting the wolf?
No, I didn't.
They
It's
put
funny.
like they got Taylor Lautner. They put him in like a mocap suit, right? Except for his face. They just showed his face. He had to tilt his head down, and she rubbed his fucking head. I swear to God, you could look this up. There are photos.
Oh, that's dumb as shit.
It looks like he. It's not even like. It's not actually a proper mocap suit. It's just a. It's like a. You know those morph suits?
Yeah, it's like you just fucking
Yeah, so
Photoshop on top of it.
Yeah, but it's like a grey morph suit, and they just cut like the face out of it. So it's just terrible.
Well, to be fair though, like that was how Gollum was done as well. Gollum
Yeah.
wasn't a proper mocap suit. Gollum was just a grey suit.
Yeah, but I bet Gollum never got fucking pet.
I think he might have, to be fair.
No, but it's just the fact that it makes
there-
sense for Gollum and stuff, because he's actually a character, and Andy Serkis is playing that character, and obviously he'd be talking in those scenes. But Taylor Lautner's the wolf at the stage, so he's not
yeah, but
actually doing
they need to
anything.
he needs to emote with his face.
Jesus Christ. See, my problem is, and I was gonna say this is where it started, where like Twilight was the beginning of all these like teenage novels, where everyone just like bought all the rights to these novels that did somewhat well, and they just made films out of them. And then I forget about Aragon, because that's really the start of this, where Harry Potter did well and Lord of the Rings had done well. So they're like, you know what? Why don't we get like that teenage kind of child kind of story, and we get sort of like the medieval sort of fantasy aspect of Lord of the Rings, put it in one film. Oh wait, there's a book for it. We'll just do an adaptation, and it's awful, and that's where it started. Because the problem with those adaptations, and this is why the stories are bad, they're written by teenagers.
Well, that was
For
just Aragon
teenagers.
was written by a teenager.
But that's where it kind of started. But since that did really well, everyone decided to do that kind of a story and do
The
it
fun-
in that way. You know what I
There's
mean?
also because the only ones that actually had the only ones that had sustained success still ongoing is Harry Potter, because
Yeah.
like by the time Hobbit finished, Lord of the Rings pootered out a little bit. 'Cause
I
no
think
one
that was
really cared.
mainly because Game of
That's
Thrones
just
kind of had
straight.
taken over by them.
Well, no, because people cared about the first two Hobbit films. It's just by the time the third one came out,
Yeah.
people were just done. They were just
Yeah.
so done with it.
I think that's just because they were bad films.
But even so, that didn't even have sustained success. Like even Harry Potter, I think Crimes Grindelwald still actually financially did quite well.
Oh yeah. Oh, it made a lot of money. Yeah. They
And all the
always
Harry
will
Potter
always
films.
make money. Like
The Harry
they
Potter. Well, we'll see the next one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just surprised they don't make do a Marvel, make one a year at this rate, because people would genuinely still go, because there's a massive fan base. for
I'm
that.
gonna guess this is gonna be the end game eventually, because I'm gonna guess they're gonna want to do some HBO Max series involving the license.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're trying to start to do, where they're going to be like, I imagine they're just going to be like stories within the world of Harry Potter. Sort of like,
Well, yeah, well that's what the game
Mandalorian and
coming
stuff.
out is. Well, that's what the game coming out is.
yeah. Well, I think this is what we're going to start seeing now, because Mandalorian was a success, where it's not like, well, specifically season 1, but it's not really part of the massive story, whereas it's just a side story. but people
That was
really
the issue.
love that.
That was the issue with season 2.
That was issue season 2, but we have discussed that in the past.
No, let me get back to my point. So it's just like Harry Potter's the only one that's still sustained success on paper. Because the first Narnia was a huge success, like really big success.
Yeah.
Like massive. It's kind of forgotten about now, those films, and people even forgot that there was a third one. Some people forget there was a second.
I saw it in a French cinema, and it had French subtitles, so I was happy. So it was just all in English.
I had that when I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home. So it was like Narnia failed after having a massive first release. Aragon didn't get a second film.
Yeah.
I think Hunger Games managed. Hunger Games finished that only had 2 successful films as far as I remember in terms of what people were talking about. Financially, I think all the Hunger Games films did okay off the back of Jennifer Lawrence.
They went surprisingly well, especially the final 2. They did really well. Like they were touching.
To be fair to them, it was quite a small series.
Yeah, it was only like 5 books or something, or 4 books or something like that.
It was 3 books, so 4 films.
Enough, Oh yeah.
But the funniest is because then you had Divergent, which didn't even get to make its final film because they split it into part 1 and 2, but part 1 bombed so badly.
Yeah.
The Host, I think that was a franchise. That was also Stephanie Meyer's.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And that got 1 film. What else got 1 film? Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They stopped making those. Spiderwick, I don't think never got a sequel.
Oh yeah.
What's the other? And Series of Unfortunate Events. So it's just such a surge. It was like in the 2000s, the superhero boom.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of seeing a resurgence of today in terms of the other kind of things outside of DC and Marvel getting attention, because we have Invincible and The Boys, but that's mainly Witcher. And Netflix has Umbrella Academy.
I think that's mainly because Prime, like superhero stuff on Prime, was obviously going to do well because it's the second highest, subscriber base. Obviously, Netflix being the first. I
can see HBO Max ending up as the top dog by the end of the decade.
You think?
I just think
just because it's Warner Brothers based.
I just think it has so much of a fucking back catalog.
Yeah, with like Harry Potter and obviously, basically every Warner Brothers property.
If they start basically doing a live TV package, if they combine HBO Go and HBO Net, do they still do HBO Go?
I think so, yeah.
So I'm gonna guess if they combine HBO Go and HBO Now, will probably kind of be.
Yeah, because there's a whole thing where they're partnering. AT&T are merging with, Warner
Discovery.
Media is merging with Discovery Plus or something. So it's getting even more stuff now going to be in that catalog, if you know what I mean. It's like a $49 fucking billion merger or something. It's mental. It's almost like the Fox merger with Disney equivalent.
Which is save Disney Plus, because I was getting so bored of it.
Oh yeah.
Finally, there's other content for me to waste my days watching New Girl.
Simpsons, like that really got a lot of people, and they have Futurama on there now, but like that's what really got people back.
Which I prefer to Disney Plus. I'd argue it's now the best one for box sets.
Because of Star?
Well, in terms of both, because like you have, of course, the new Marvel shows coming out. You have you have Clone Wars, Mandalorian. Now you have like, in terms of, you have Scrubs, Modern Family, How I Met Your Mother, New Girl, Blackish, Ugly Betty. I think they've quite a big future
catalog.
Family Guy and American Dad, Simpsons.
Oh yeah, because of the Fox.
Cleveland Show.
Oh sure, what else? What was I gonna say? Disney Plus. Oh God.
Brains are gone to spaghetti tonight, folks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either it's going to be a lot of editing, or it's just going to be a very boring podcast, or somewhere in the middle.
Oh God, Disney Plus. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Netflix and Sony. It's good that Sony were very smart in what they did, where they basically were like publicly went out and were like, yeah, so all like our Spider-Man films and stuff, and all the new kind of Spider-Man films come out, like Morbius, Venom 2, they will release on Netflix 45 days after their theatrical release or something like that. And of course, Disney were like, yeah, no, we kind of want those Spider-Man films. So we're only going to be getting them for this year and next year, I think. And I think I think it's 2021. Obviously, Spider-Man Far From Home and stuff will be on Netflix, but after that'll merge with Disney Plus.
Yeah,
so they'll finally have the MCU on it.
It's taken this long to get it, to be honest.
Yeah, I do. See, we haven't really discussed this, have we? But I don't mind the whole idea of film comes out theatrically, and 45 days later, it's on a streaming platform. Because 45 days later, people aren't going to go to the cinema to watch it again. You know what I mean?
Unless your name's Endgame.
But even then, you know what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of kids' films do well because they've quite sustained success.
Frozen
Because
comes to mind, yeah.
well, there's a lot of things where parents are just like, pretty much all cinemas do like a 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. kind of £3 ticket where it's like parents just bring the kids. Yeah, and just get them to shut the fuck up for an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah. Or maybe don't. Like how awkward I felt when I went to see Spider-Verse.
I had that when I went to see Lego Batman as well.
Oh, yeah, where you just go out and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm safe. Oh, Turner Wayne's crying. Oh, can everyone leave? I kind of.
Funny enough, for Lego Batman, it wasn't the kids that were talking. It was only the parents.
God, that's even worse.
Just answering phone calls.
That is worse. I hate that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Or I'll get into my story with Dumbo someday.
Let's get ready for Dumbo. I will not watch that remake.
Film. Awful film.
That's why someone told me that. I was like, good, thank you.
I think it was me.
No, it wasn't. It was someone else. But it's this guy in college.
Okay.
But yeah, like I find it weird that people are really against that idea. That 45 days later it's going to be on stream platform, because if anything that makes me want to watch the film more, if you know what I mean. Like I'll watch the film on that stream platform.
For a lot of those films, like the Marvel films, I could really. So I'm someone who would usually maybe go twice to see a lot of the Marvel films in cinema.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So I think that would probably stop me doing that.
Why? Because in like a month later it's going to be.
Yeah, I just feel like I was wait.
Well, I don't know, because I'm sort of under the impression that, like, when you come out of a film, like, imagine the Batman showing, right? And it's obviously going to be great. But, we're going to go in, we're going to watch it, we're going to come back out, and we're going to be like, oh, I want to go watch that, and we'll probably go the next day. You know what I mean? I'm kind of thinking of that kind of a vibe, because, like, my problem with it was, and this is why I started buying Blu-rays and stuff, was because if I wanted to watch one of these films, you're basically forced to illegally stream it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I was worried about that for Justice League for a while, that was going to be the case.
Because, like, the problem was, like, people forget pre-Endgame, it would, like, well, pre-Disney Plus, I should say, if you wanted to watch these films and they weren't in the cinema, you had to basically buy them, because Netflix only had a handful of them at a time.
And they'd only have them for a little bit.
Yeah. And they would always get switched around, so like you would never be able to watch basically all of them.
You could never rely on anything being on there.
Aye, pretty much. Like they wouldn't show.
Apart from Iron Man 4 being on E4 every weekend.
Iron Man 4?
Iron Man 1.
Alright, I was like, Iron Man 4?
Iron Man 1 on E4 every weekend.
Of course. But that's why I buy Blu-ray. That's why I started buying Blu-rays, because I was like, right, I just want to watch these. I want to be able to just, if I want to watch this, I can just pick it up and watch it. You know what I mean?
Because that's the thing, like Star Wars was never on a streaming service.
Very rarely. I'll tell you when they were. Netflix would always have the previous film be on the platform, like when the next films come out. For example, like they had Man of Steel on Netflix right before, like the day BVS was coming out.
Yeah.
And they had The Force Awakens on a week or two before Last Jedi came out. And
no, I think they did that before Rogue One. Because I think they switched out Force Awakens for Rogue One.
You think?
I remember seeing Force Awakens on, and then I remember seeing Rogue One on it.
I mean,
And
that
I
was never a
couldn't
problem for me
remember.
because that's when I started buying Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Because that's yeah, like the first Blu-ray I went out and bought was Force Awakens because I was just like, yeah, I want to watch this film. But like, I think that's kind of why Warner Brothers are shutting down their physical media for their films. Like they're gonna stop producing like 4K Blu-rays and Blu-rays and DVDs, which I think is a terrible choice. But I think it forces people less to buy those if the film's going to be on a streaming platform 45 days later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there currently any plan to bring HBO Max to UK?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there is plans. It's just they need to figure out rights and stuff like this. And they're working on, like, South America at the minute and other things. We'll see it
Currently,
at
the
least by
closest
next year.
equivalent would be Sky.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Now TV.
Well, not TV, is Sky.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Sorry. But yeah, no, that's basically maybe that's probably why.
I got bad news. Within the last 8 hours, Zach has commented on the fact that Warner DC basically said goodbye to him.
For now. There's hope. Faith. Adam, faith.
I know.
As Bruce once said. I mean,
Famously.
I want more. And I think we will get more. But I think it's going to be a while. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It's amazing that we even got the film we got. The way it is. And, you know, I think we at least first need to appreciate the fact that we got that. And then, hopefully, I think, after Zach's kind of done with Netflix, Warner Brothers will be like, okay, your films will make money. Yeah, I think because there's changing of hands at Warner Brothers at the minute, especially with this merger going on, and there's a new head of Warner Media who's very open and appreciative of Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we could potentially be seeing some changes, but we just kind of have to wait, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, wrap it up.
100%. So any closing
next week, join us for
what are we doing?
Cruella?
Do you want to do Cruella?
I do kind of want to. I want to see our reaction to Cruella.
Because it's not a film I plan to watch, but I will watch it just because I have no opinion on it so far.
Yeah, that's also what I want to watch. I want to go into something with no bias.
So we'll be doing Cruella and probably talking mainly about Disney, I imagine.
Yeah, I'll probably anything else out next week. Because neither of us watch Bad Batch, so
no, we'll watch Cruella, and by the time that is done, we'll be watching like Black Widow or Loki or something. Loki.
I will watch Black Widow's on the 28th, so actually we might do both.
Very nice.
Maybe.
Right, we'll end it there. Good night, everyone.
Hopefully
And also,
next time.
by the
Hopefully
way,
David gets out.
By the way, also follow us on Instagram at the State Podcast, and don't bother with Twitter, even though we do have a Twitter account. It's at State of Podcasts. Please don't forget to download and subscribe on YouTube. We are on many platforms such as Buzzsprout. Have a good luck. We have all our directories there. And good night.